Maganda. Pwede. Kasi kailangan ng charger kasi malulog. Okay, mga ano. Lagi na talaga hindi. Ha? Ay, kailangan lagi. Pero wala na sa teman eh. Oh, yun na, wala. Ano ba gato? Picture? 100 plus ka na? Live picture. Ano, HD picture? Magkala? 100 plus. Kapag sa CV yan. Orang dari saksan ka. Karena saksan ka na. Terus ko na. Lagi yang saksan. Apa? Ano yung saksakan ng tapo? Tapi ini meeting ID tuh? Ya, meeting ID seru kan? Tama. Ya, usah ko na. Hindi dahil ko na kayo. Saan yung picture mo? Saan yung picture? Ito ba? Ano ba ito? Eh, ba ito ka? Naka-picture lang ito. Masuk. Yeah. 376. 758. 758. 1422.
With delivery?
Ano ako? Katalahas ko na yung asaw niya. Uy. Ginaw. Kami lang dyan. Ah. 765. Ah. Saan? Yan din. May sampag ilagay ko na. Udah siya, dapat to. Apa? Baraman to ni. Gagawin ko lang sa balak. Ito kita. Lagi nasaksakan. Yes, na.
Kuha na kanina no?
Kaya, ikaw ko muna guys. Leta ko muna ikaw na.
Video.
Ano na pwede?
Sige lang yan.
Dito, kuha ka tawag na? Naka-screen. Naka-live mo sa live.
Ini pilihan ko. Station. Transition ko sa stage. Hindi siya para ulit sa para. Kaya mo sa
Okay. Oh, props.
Ganun mo gamitin kick-off pa nan.
Oh,
Ina,
Diba,
ano first day
kick-off
din.
ikaw na.
It shall ensure the availability, adequacy, accessibility, and affordability of food supplies at all time in the Bangsamoro. The MAFAR Vision. A Bangsamoro region of socio-economically stable, resilient, and globally competitive farmers and fisherfolk. The MAFAR Mission. To empower farming and fishing communities by ensuring equitable access to quality services and optimum economic benefits. The policy statement: resiliency and productivity for food security, income, and rural employment in an enabling environment for farmers, fisherfolk, and agrarian reform beneficiaries. The MAFAR functions: policy, planning, monitoring, and evaluation services, production support services, market development services, extension support, education and training support services, research, development and extension, agriculture and fishery machineries, equipment and facilities support services, irrigation network services, resource management, development and regulatory support, land tenure support services, agrarian and fisheries justice delivery, and support services delivery for agrarian reform communities. The major objectives of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform: to make food available and affordable, to increase income of Bangsamoro farmers, fisherfolks, and agrarian reform communities, to increase the resilience to climate change risks. The overview of the agri-fisheries commodities in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Food sufficiency in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Top agricultural commodities. The region ranked first in cassava, 11th in rice, 5th in coconut, 4th in corn, and 1st in cereals in the gross national production. The priority commodities under the Provincial Commodity Investment Plans of PRDP. The total number of beneficiaries served. 42 farmer cooperatives and associations. The status of food security in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. 61.3% poverty incidence among individuals. 6.5 out of 10 children in the bar live in poverty. The Bangsamoro Roadmap for Food Security and Nutrition. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao Food Security and Nutrition Roadmap, the 10-year path. The fisheries sufficiency. The Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Agrarian Reform flagship programs. BP, Basic Integration for Harmonized Intervention.
Ako sir, 4 minutes.
ISDA, Integrated and Sustainable Development for Aquaculture Capture. LUPA, Land Distribution and Development for the Upliftment of Poor ARBs. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform, Programs and Projects.
langit di sinarito.
The Bangsamoro Transition Authority is the interim regional government of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, has executive and legislative powers over the region. The legislative powers vested in the Parliament under the leadership of the Honorable Speaker Attorney Pangalian M. Balindo. The ratification of the Bangsamoro Organic Law in a plebiscite on January 21, 2019 marked the official creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. The Bangsamoro Transition Authority was appointed by His Excellency Rodrigo Roa Duterte to govern the region during the transition period. Members of the BTA took their oath before President Duterte during a historic ceremony held at the Malacanang Palace on February 22, 2019, paving the way for Bangsamoro self-determination. One of the mandates of the BTA as a transition government is the enactment of the following priority legislations: the Bangsamoro Administrative Code, Bangsamoro Internal Revenue Code, Bangsamoro Civil Service Code, Bangsamoro Electoral Code, Bangsamoro Local Government Code, and the Bangsamoro Education Code. Halfway in its term, the Bangsamoro Parliament has already enacted landmark laws with 15 Bangsamoro Autonomy Acts as follows: an act adopting an official flag of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao,
An act adopting an official Bangsamoro emblem of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. An act appropriating funds for the operation of the Bangsamoro government from January 1 to December 31, 2020 and for other purposes. An act operationalizing the establishment of the Bangsamoro Human Rights Commission, providing for its mandate, powers, and functions, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. An act creating the Bangsamoro Attorney General's Office, defining its functions and powers, appropriating funds therefore and for other related purposes. An act establishing a Bangsamoro socio-economic development planning system, providing funds therefore and for other purposes. An act adopting the official hymn of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. An act creating the Bangsamoro Women Commission of the BARM, providing for its powers, functions, and composition and appropriating funds therefore. An act regulating the operations of local and foreign recruitment agencies within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. An act creating and establishing the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, defining its powers, functions, and responsibilities, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. An act defining the power of appointment in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and for other purposes. An act creating Bangsamoro Sports Commission, providing for its mandate, powers, and functions, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. An act providing the Bangsamoro Administrative Code and for other related purposes. An act extending the availability of the 2020 Bangsamoro appropriation to December 31, 2021, except personal services, amending for the purpose Section 47 of the General Provisions of the Bangsamoro Autonomy Act No. 3, the Bangsamoro Appropriation Act of Fiscal Year 2020. An act the operation of the Bangsamoro government from January 1 to December 31, 2021 and for other purposes. Furthermore, the BTA Parliament has so far approved 100 resolutions, some of which are resolution calling for the creation of a bureau that will focus in promoting the welfare and addressing the needs, issues, and concerns of the orphans and widows who are victims of war and violence. Resolution calling on the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration to look into the plight of distressed overseas Filipino workers from BARM, to know their conditions and to assist them in obtaining all the help and benefits they ought to receive from the national government. Resolution urging the concerned agencies and local government units of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to adopt and implement measures to prevent the entry of the 2019 novel coronavirus or 2019 nCoV in the areas of Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Resolution commending all frontliners in the Bangsamoro region for their heroism, bravery, dedication, and altruistic services in the fight against COVID-19. Resolution approving the first Bangsamoro Development Plan 2020 to 2022 of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. And the resolution urging the House of Representatives and the Senate of the Philippines to extend the BARM transition period to June 30, 2025 to afford the Bangsamoro Transition Authority sufficient time to continue in performing its powers and functions and fulfill its mandate. Despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic affecting not only the Bangsamoro region but the entire world, the BTA Parliament remains steadfast and unfazed as it continues to deliver its mandate for the benefit of the Bangsamoro. Shukran wassalam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. 2 years ago, January 21, 2019, the Bangsamoro Foundation Day opened a new chapter in the history of the Bangsamoro when the people of the then autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao voted to ratify the Bangsamoro Organic Law or the Republic Act 11054, law creating a new Bangsamoro. Being ratified, as we heard on the various news updates on that day, indeed sounded best in our ears because we knew what it meant, the start of fulfilling hopes of promises for the Bangsamoro people. 2 years have passed. Significant moments have been in our favor, from fighting for our right to self-determination to implementing moral governance. We have come so far, and it is about time that we celebrate this milestone even more, to celebrate the Bangsamoro that we continue to build. We began this new chapter in 2019. This chapter was set to conclude the year 2022, a year from now. Admittedly, the road to a new government, which is not unique only to the Bangsamoro, is not well due to transition complexities and hit of the COVID-19 pandemic, amongst other challenges. It is only necessary that our duty shall be extended in the hopes of fulfilling our essential work to complete our governance structure. Despite being impacted by the dreaded COVID-19 pandemic and knowing that building local feast takes sustained efforts, we continue to report for duty to serve, to carry through a successful transition from revolution to governance. In fact, Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Energy, BARM, has been able to institute the Integrated Bangsamoro Greening Program. It aims to grow 171.2 million trees covering about 159 hectares of BARM forest land. As the lead in the Kayod-Bangsamoro convergence that aims to create income-generating livelihood activities for the soon-to-be decommissioned MILF via combatants, now fellow rangers, their families, and other food-insecure households in the forest land communities. MINRI has already established 9 KKB garden sites in Maguindanao and Lanao del Sur. For the number of apprehended illegal forest product in 2020, only 2,000 board feet was seized, as compared to 19,000 board feet in 2019 and 17,000 board feet in 2019. MINRI has also facilitated technical assistance for the approval of 10-year solid waste management plan of the 43 VARM local government units. Through VARM MINRI Project Bantay, the Ministry has extended relief assistance to forest communities affected by the COVID-19 caused enhanced community quarantine. The communities are partners of MINRI in the protection and in guarding the Bangsamoro forests and forest land. These are just few of the various accomplishments of MINRE ever since our Bangsamoro Foundation Day. And with the 200 newly appointed officials and employees of MINRE as of today, we aim to accomplish even more to continue protecting and conserving the environment of the Bangsamoro, bearing the Ministry's vision in our actions, kalikasan matatag sa Bangsamorong panatag. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the first time ever, hoisting the Bangsamoro flag next to the Philippine flag. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We can now proudly say that we have achieved genuine autonomy that encapsulates the long history of the Bangsamoro people. We cannot claim any success if we cannot reform the system. Alam ko na marami sa atin nagsasabi ng moral governance. Pero karamihan ay sa bibig lamang ito na narinig, hindi nakikita doon sa kanyang ginagawa. That is a big challenge for us because we cannot claim success in this next level of our struggle if we will not be successful in building a real governance which is founded on moral governance.
2020 has been a great challenge to government, especially in the health sector. There were significant decrease in the delivery of health services due to the COVID-19. Besides, suppose clients cannot avail proper health services because of the limitations in the movement. On the other, health workers cannot deliver what they supposed to deliver due to lack of protective equipment. But as we are Bangsamoro, our identity is that we persist in what we do. We persist in the achievement of our aspirations. That no amount of challenges will stop us from serving the Bangsamoro people in times of hardship. Hence, we in the Ministry of Health continues to deliver health services in one way or another and in however possible way so that our people may be served in what they deserve even if we are challenged by pandemic.
The Ministry of Transportation and Communication, MOTC BARM, headed by Minister Hermoso, successfully met with Secretary Arthur P. Tugade last January 15 in PPA Building, Rojas Boulevard, Manila, in relation to the smooth and inclusive transfer of powers and function to include properties and assets of LTO to LTO BARM, vested to the Bangsamoro government by the Republic Act No. 11054. Yusek Raul de Rosario of DOTR-OTS facilitated the preliminary meeting and the rest of DOTR head of agencies with the MOTC BARM team headed by our Minister Dixon P. Hermoso. After a series of groundworks with LTO Regional Office 9 and Regional Office 12, we came up with the draft timeline and draft Memorandum of Agreement, MOA, to realize the said smooth transfer. LTO BARM timeline to include transfer of powers and functions, proposed timeline, preferred automation system, proposed staffing pattern, and the highlights of the draft MOA. At least 6 LTO district offices and 3 extension offices to be turned over to us by the national government not later than March of this year, as per specified in our agreed timeline. MOTC BARM also requesting LTO National to extend their automation system to LTO BARM. As part of the preparation, we came up with complete staffing pattern to man different district and extension offices of LTO BARM. This is to include highlights of the MOA between MOTC BARM and LTO National. Thank you very much.
Yung mga non-Moro IP women talaga natin ay hirap na hirap, lalo na doon sa kanilang kalagayan at yung kanilang mga pangangailangan, halimbawa lalo na may kinalaman doon sa livelihood, dahil bukod sa sila ay nahaharap doon sa sinasabi nating minsan ay pagbakwit, kasama pa rin dito nakaatang talaga yung pang-araw-araw na pangangailangan nila, na hindi nila nauuwian yung kanilang mga komunidad kung saan sila ay nagsasaka. So malaki talaga yung epekto nito sa kanila.
Heto na, andito na tayo kung saan tayo patungo. Marahil tayo'y panalo, ngunit hindi pa ito ang dulo. Hakbang sa pareong daan at patuloy sa kanilang sinimulan. Lasapin na makabagong sistema ng bayan at ang ginawang para sa kabataan. Mayan ng sandata, boses nila ang magiging bala at ang nakaraay magsisilbing pambilo ni Yuhulma sa bagong Bangsamoro.
Open opportunities for people to have a good life.
Kami po ay taos-pusong nagpapasalamat sa walang sawang pagprotekta sa seguridad ng ating mga kababaihan.
In the barm, no? So we have seen na yung mga kababaihan natin are not playing a passive role already. They're having active roles in the barm. They're performing the tasks that any male can do. And even they're very proactive yung pagsulong sa women's rights.
Pa-inspiration na sana masave ko yung sarili ko as a woman at saka iba pang mga women na sana hindi sila magiging victims of before na harassment, mga kidnapping at saka iba pang mga pangyayari na hindi gusto ng Islam.
Bumabaha ng pawis, dumanak ang dugo, buhay binuwis, alis sa kapayapaan at katurungang ninanais, inaasam ngayon atin ng nakamtan, Bangsamoro'y tagumpay, hawak kamay na'y pagpapatuloy ang paglalakbay, kapayapaay pananatilihin, pagkakaisa'y pagtitibayin, bawat paghihirap ay may dulot na katapusan, bawat patak ng luha, lungkot at sakit ay may kalakip na ligaya at galak, kung tutuusin walang talo, lahat tayo ay panalo, kung tutuusin walang talo, lahat tayo ay panalo sapagkat ang adikain ng bawat isa ay isang magandang pagbabago. Sapagkat ang adikain ng bawat isa ay isang magandang pagbabago.
They will always remain in our hearts, in my heart, because during the time na halos wala na kaming magamit dito, si BARM para tumulong sa amin, nagbigay ng supplies na kailangan ng CRMC.
Kung makatulong man kami ng 75% before na wala pa kami dito, ay mas lalo na siguro na 100% kasi tulong-tulong naman tayo kung paano natin nakamit ito.
Maraming salamat po. Naway ipagpatuloy pa rin natin ang mga sinisimula nating adikain upang ang BARM government ay magiging responsive siya at maramdaman ng mga mamamayang katutubo yung sinasabi nating moral governance. Fio Bagi, Muuyag, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
MILG Ready, Bureau of Bangsamoro Women Commission, Bangsamoro Cultural Heritage, Project Tabang or the Tulong Alay sa Bangsamorong Nangangailangan, Ministry of Health, and the Bangsamoro Transition Authority. Now, before we move on, we would just like to remind everyone that there is a designated seat assigned for you. Now, if you could not locate that, please do not hesitate to approach our usherettes because they will find that seat for you and usher you to that seat. Also, we encourage everyone to put your phones on silent mode while the ceremony is going on.
And still part of our pre-program is a cultural presentation to be performed by the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples. A round of applause, please.
Mic test. The Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs will showcase selected ethnic music and dance of one of the IP groups, the Teduray tribe. Fansaodor-odor Kasagagum is a combination of traditional music with the use of agum. It includes a foot moto, a music played to accompany a sayaw sa parumbon or war dance. Sayaw Bilian is a ritual dance performed by the traditional healers of the Teduray tribe. It is a skillful way of portraying the ritual movements in giving thanks for the blessings received from the divine creator. This Thanksgiving ritual dance signifies that the indigenous people in Barm are being recognized by the Bangsamoro government through the creation of MIPA and the provision of reserved seats for the indigenous people in the parliament. Sayaw Kuligi is a traditional dance portraying the movement of an eagle. It symbolizes freedom, strength, and protection. This dance signifies that the indigenous people have freedom to decide and return to the respective indigenous cultural communities who have been internally displaced due to peace and order situation. The Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs supports the plan of the indigenous people to go back to their sacred place with the help of the Bangsamoro government as their source of strength and protection.
Thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation from the members of our Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs. Now we will be starting the program proper. And again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. In 2019, a historic referendum granted autonomy to the Bangsamoro region. It was exactly on the 21st of January that the Bangsamoro Administrative Code recognized this day as the Bangsamoro Foundation Day.
Today, 2 years later, not only do we commemorate the establishment of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, we also celebrate the recognition of the dreams and aspirations of the people to chart their social, cultural, political, and economic destiny in exercise of their right to self-determination.
In the words of our Chief Minister Ahod Haj Murad Balawag Ebrahim, these are the blood, sweat, and tears of our martyrs. After decades of peace negotiations in our quest towards moral governance, we are finally here. We may have come afar, but we have come a long way, but we have built and have been building strong foundations for a better Bangsamoro.
Ladies, gentlemen, and between and beyond, welcome to the Bangsamoro Foundation Day. I am Bea Almoite.
And I am Al Pangandaman.
And we are your hosts
for today's ceremony.
To formally start our program this morning, may I request everyone to please rise for our invocation to be led by Grand Mufti of Bangsamoro, Mufti Abu Huraira Udazan for the Islam prayer, Dr. Susana Anayati, member of the Bangsamoro Parliament for the Christian prayer, and Minister Melanio Ulama, the Minister of Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs for the Indigenous Peoples prayer.
May we also ask everyone to please remain standing after the prayer as we pay homage to our country and the Bangsamoro homeland through the singing of the Philippine National Anthem and the Bangsamoro hymn.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Ya Allah, O Almighty Allah, as a part of our commemoration of the Foundation Day of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, we are here gathered here again, raising our hands in a gesture of full submission to your will, beseeching you, Almighty Allah, of your blessing and guidance in our collective drive toward virtual prosperity, success, and well-being of the Bangsamoro people, as well as our sacred Bangsamoro motherland. For you are our cherisher and sustainer. Ya Allah, O Almighty Allah, provide our leaders excellent mental and physical health. Keep their steps firm and strong in getting rid of all evils of graft, corruption, dishonesty, and injustice, as well as public wealth, embezzlement, and squandering, for the stability and harmony of the economic life of the Bangsamoro people. Ya Allah, O Almighty Allah, strengthen their position to surmount all the challenges and stumbling blocks on our way for development in the light of moral governance. For you are the absolute sovereign, exalted in might. O Almighty Allah, enhance the unity, solidarity, and integrity of our people as one Bangsamoro people, one Bangsamoro Ummah. Enlighten the adversaries of the Bangsamoro Organic Law, BOL, to concede to the truth and to accept and acknowledge the reality. For you are the most generous and most gracious. Subhanaka ya Allah. Glory be to you, Almighty Allah. Safeguard our motherland against all sorts of calamities and disasters. Hinder the COVID-19 pandemic from us, for you are omnipotent, omniscient. Ya Allah, guide us along the right path. Lay not on us burden beyond our capacity to bear. Condemn us not if we forget or fall into error. Pass over our faults and grant us forgiveness. Let our moral martyrs rest in the eternity of your bliss. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adhaban nar. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Manalangin tayo. Makapangyarihan at mahabaging Diyos, kami ay nagpupuri at sumasamba sa iyong kadakilaan at kalwalhatian. Panginoong Diyos, sa pagdiriwang ng ikalawang anibersaryo ng pagkakatatag ng pamahalaang Bangsamoro, taus-pusong pasasalamat po sa lahat ng biyaya mula sa inyo. Patuloy niyo pong basbasan ang aming mga pinuno, lalong-lalo na po ang aming Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte at gayon din ang aming Chief Minister Ahod Balawag Ebrahim at mga lideres at mamamayang Pilipino, lalo higit ang mga Bangsamoro. Panginoong Diyos, hiling din po namin ang inyong patnubay upang mapagtagumpayan namin ang lahat ng paghamon sa bagong tatag na pamahalaang Bangsamoro at makamtan namin ang malaunang hinahangad na pangmatagalang kapayapaan at kaunlaran na nakaugat sa sariling pagpapasya ng mga Bangsamoro. Sa pangwakas, Panginoong Diyos, idinadalangin namin ang pagkakaisa at pagkakaunawaan ng lahat ng mamamayan sa aming rehiyon upang matupad at maghari ang kapayapaan sa aming pamayanan. Siya nawa. Amen.
Munday dam. Tulus game. Tawpum ketemu. Ini game ni double tangam. Tribe people, Moro, IP, baru do samung ni Christian.
Tau fumiray gidubeme dakal papuri brab pasasalamat bang gumahake gruwe blintwa krugay Bangsamoro government ini. Abay, hindi siya mabigay klohonan. Piri ka mabigay malganay wayag. Iraya mo bigay bagar. Iraya mo bigay fiyo itungan. Para malawan, ibigay ni do tribe people, tapik-tapik ye. Papiyo na kay ikagay tamanan. Para malawan. Gangay gay, luptowe po tumbok, ikagay ni ayon. Bumangay gay, lubran ni moral governance. Abay, nagagana kidek ben sa ibigay. Pungot kay dubeme, prungurungo gay, huray-uray gay, pagdaw-gdaw gay. Nimo dorone kamit tayan na bay. Ikagaye kitayan namo dorono. On linimbagam sabi gay. Be mimgatur bakuyag gay. Komon pagdaw-gdaw gay bigay. Dubeme. Hiraya mo bigay solo para malawan remendaw dub ago ke mga isaraw dub kingdom niya. Abay, naik maus-maus okay keben sa ibigay. Inibni celebrate kay grono blintwa January 21 the founding anniversary Bangsamoro government gain. Bendisyono mo iklohana the leaders do gobyerno gayni do barmen. Labi-labi na ho ikagay Chief Minister iraya mo fiyo kaglawohono iraya mo fiyo itungano bendisyono mo klolo anakay do ministries barob do MP. Abay tabangan din. Badakali kitabang. Amen.
You may now take your seats. All right, apologies for that. We request everyone to please rise again as we proceed with the as we pay homage to our country and the Bangsamoro homeland through the singing of the Philippine National Anthem and the Bangsamoro hymn.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansa, ang awit ng ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, katas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng makiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ko bagaw, ay hinatang tulak, awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawag mo'y tagumpay na nagkikinig, ang pituwing at araw niya kailan pa may magkikinig, lumalang araw ng waragin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling ko, ang bigaya na
sa puso't isipan. Ang lahat tumuling ay nananbuwis ng buhay. Nasa piling ka ng may kapal. Bangsamoro ay tagumpay. Mula ng pawis, dugo at buhay. Kapayapaan, karahuman ay ating nang nakamtan. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, pagpalain mo sa
We now take your seats. As many of you know, we are facing tough times. As much as we want to connect to a broader audience for today's affair, we have to navigate through our new normal of a COVID-19 world. But amidst the challenges being experienced by the country and by the region, we have managed to find ways as always, be it physically or virtually.
That being said, Bea, we are being broadcasted live on our official Facebook page, which is the Bangsamoro government page. So for those who are watching online, please like and follow so that you never miss updates. And the page is at the Bangsamoro government.
So do tune in to stay updated, and you can also host a watch party online among your friends. Also, if you are on your phone at this moment, we encourage you to upload photos or post about the event and type the hashtag BARM Foundation Day.
On this momentous occasion, not only are we blessed with some of the most empowered people of the region, we are also graced by visionaries, decision makers who helped shape and contribute to the Bangsamoro region. That being said, we would like to recognize the presence of the following members of the Senate of the Philippines,
House of Representatives,
Cabinet Secretaries,
international NGOs, national government organizations,
local chief executives,
national and local offices and agencies,
Moro Islamic Liberation Front,
Moro National Liberation Front,
and our uniformed personnel from the Philippine Army and the Philippine National Police.
Today we also have the ministries, agencies, offices of the Bangsamoro government,
and our members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority.
Thank you very much for joining us physically and virtually for today's ceremony.
Yeah. Most stories start with once upon a time, and the Bangsamoro story is no different, with our theme, moral governance, building strong foundations for a better Bangsamoro. It reflects how strong foundations are continuously being built into a community that respects and honors the diversity of our people while establishing government that lives up to the promise to meaningful self-governance that represents the aspirations and will of the Bangsamoro.
But unlike many stories that end with happily ever after, it is the journey of the Bangsamoro government that makes the story worth telling. And you know what? Speaking of story, our next speaker has a story to tell. Maybe one, two, or maybe more. So without ado, please put your hands together for the Executive Secretary of the Office of the Chief Minister and concurrent Minister of the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Energy, Minister Abdul Rauf A. Makakua.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa bihi nasta'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our respected Wali of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, Sheikh Khalifa Nando, Brother Haj Murad Ahod Ebrahim, our Chief Minister of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, the Deputy Chief Minister, Ali Pangalian Balindong, which I am sure he is on virtual attendance, our Deputy Chief Minister Abu Sahrin, which he passed away yesterday, and I appealing to everybody to please give a few seconds for us to read the Fatiha para sa kay Deputy Chief Minister. Attorney Brother Pangalian Balindong, the Speaker of the Parliament, the cabinet member who are present here, virtually or physically, our Mufti, Abu Hurairah Udasan, the leader among the leader of the Bangsamoro Transition Parliament, the three deputies speaker, Attorney Omar Sema, who are present today physically, Attorney Nabil Tan, which I believe he's on a virtual attendance, and MP Jarul Rahman Adjong. These are the two deputy speakers of our parliament.
Three.
Attorney Lanang Ali, Majority Floor Leader of the Bangsamoro Parliament. The Deputy Majority Leader, MP Kadapi Mangudadato, MP Paisalin Tago, and MP Raisa Junjuri. The Minority Floor Leader, Attorney Liza Lamia, which I believe also is on a virtual attendance. The three deputies of the Minority Floor Leader, Attorney Suharto Ambuludto, Attorney Rasul Midtumog, and MP by Baintan Ampatuan. And to all the members of the Parliament who are virtually and physically in attendance in today's affair. Some of them who are in the present were our Brother Jack Abbas, Dato Antao Midimbang, Brother Attorney Jose Lorena, and Haji Jordan, and others. I cannot really recognize you, but we are very thankful for your attendance physically in today's meeting or today's affair. My fellow servant also, or workers in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, the media partners, ladies and gentlemen, again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning to everyone. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. The Bangsamoro Foundation Day of 2021 will come to a conclusion. And I must say, successfully. It will be carried out today just as it will be practiced in the coming years. It is our ambition to continue this tradition into the future Bangsamoro. Did we expect before that one day a time would come that we would be gathering together, rejoicing and reflecting the triumphs of the Bangsamoro? To be honest, I did think of that idea because it has been my vision for the land I grew up in. And now, I am glad that I am standing here with all of you, with our Bangsamoro flag already rising high, side by side with the flag of the Republic of the Philippines. With its passing and coming here, we as the Bangsamoro people will make strides in our growth, reaching milestone that we celebrate moment by moment. Today might be the culmination of our week-long Bangsamoro Foundation celebration, but let us continue to rejoice nevertheless. I would like us also to reflect for a moment on a phrase that is most familiar to us since the birth of the Bangsamoro, the value of moral governance. When we look back at the 2 years that passed, can all of us proudly say that we have practiced moral governance? When we try to look at the years that will pass by, can we all be sure that moral governance will be fully instilled in our hearts? I am positive and hopeful that our answer to those questions would be proud yes. As we close the ceremony of the Bangsamoro's second birth anniversary, the days that are ahead are still a cause for celebration. In each day that we continue to uphold the mission and vision of Bangsamoro, it signifies our unity, our solidarity, and our aim to achieve a successful region. To the entire Bangsamoro and to the workers of the BARM, we shall continue to put our governance, moral governance, into our future action. We shall continue to contribute to the success of the Bangsamoro for it to become an epitome of the region's what we want it to be. We are always hand in hand with you in traveling this journey. Looking at the rise of our Bangsamoro flag, let us cherish it once more. And as our Bangsamoro hymn states, ended, Bangsamoro'y tagumpay, bunga ng pawis, dugo at buhay. Assalamualaikum wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Minister Nakakuwa. Now, to give an emphasis of what Minister had said, the Bangsamoro Foundation Day reminds us that we are moving forward in our cause, and it is about time to develop our own Bangsamoro narrative.
Thank you again, Minister. That was such a moving message to constantly remind us to always remember the people who have paved the way for us to get to do what we do the way we do it. Once again, that was the Executive Secretary of the Office of the Chief Minister and concurrent Minister of the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Energy, Minister Abdul Rauf A. Makakua.
And to give us another message, please join me in welcoming the ceremonial head of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and one of the co-founders of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. It's none other than the Wali of the Bangsamoro, Sheikh Khalifa Nando.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. السيد رئيس جمهورية الفلبين وتركي، السيد رئيس حكومة بانسامورو الذاتي، إخواني أعضاء حكومة بانسامورو، إخواني أعضاء البرلمان، إخواني العلماء والمدرسين الذين حضروا في هذه الحفلة المجيدة، إخواني الجماهير بانسامورو، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، إخواني والأخوات الأعزاء، هذه هي السنة الثانية منذ إنشاء حكومة بانسامورو الحبيب، والحمد لله نحن نتقدم نحو تحقيق مهمتنا لتقديم خدمة جيدة للشعب مورو الحبيب ونذرا لدخول البلاء جائحة كوفيد-19. نحن لم نتمكن في تشريع سن معظم التشريعات المطلوبة لتشغيل حكومتنا ذات الحكم الذاتي. ومع ذلك فنحن نعمل وعملنا بشكل جيد والحمد لله. وبهذه المناسبة، مناسبة الذكرى لتأسيس حكومة بانسامورو الحبيب، أود أن أناشدكم جميعا إخواني شعب مورو من قبائلها وقطاعاتها المختلفة لدعم السلام والوحدة والإخوة والأخوة في الله، ونبذ كل أشكال التطرف، اجتناب وكل أشكال التطرف والتعصب والتشدد. يقول سبحانه وتعالى: وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان. أيها الإخوة، هذا هو الوقت المناسب لنا جميعا للعمل يدا بيد للحفاظ على مكاسب جهادنا منذ 50 عاما، الحفاظ على مكسب جهادنا منذ 50 عاما، وتأتيت السلام وتعزيز السلام على أرضنا، لأنه بدون السلام وبدون الاستقرار في أي بلد من البلدان لا أحد يستطيع العمل من أجل تنمية والتقدم والرفاهية. وبدون ذلك الأشياء المذكورة فإن مصطلح الحكومة الأخلاقية لا معنى له. وإذا عملنا معا وجميعا وحققنا هدفنا فسوف نحصل جميعا على التقدير، بينما كان كل ذلك منا يعمل ما يحلو وفي اتجاهاته خاصا به، ولن نحقق هدفنا أبدا، ولن نحقق هدفنا أبدا. ذلك يجب علينا جميعا قبول اللوم كلنا. السادة إخواني الأعضاء البرلمان وأعضاء الحكومة بانسامورو الحبيب، أعلن عليكم جميعا إن سن القانون، فإن سن القانون أمر صعب وأمر مؤكد، حيث لا يجب علينا أن نأخذ في الاعتبار جميع الجوانب وجميع أصحاب المصلحة الذي سيستأثرون بهذا القانون. ويجب علينا أن نضع في اعتبارنا بجزم لنا ومسؤولون عن أي نتيجة لأعمالنا سيحاسبنا أمام الله في يوم الآخرة. إخواني، لا يفوتنا أن نتقدم بجزيل الشكر بعد الله سبحانه وتعالى إلى رئيس الفلبين رودريغو دوترتي وأعضاء الحكومة الفلبينية والسيد الحاج مراد بلاواغ رئيس وزراء حكومة بانسامورو وأعضاء مجلس الوزراء وأعضاء البرلمان بانسامورو، كما نتقدم بالشكر الجزيل إلى الدول الإسلامية التي دعمتنا مثل ماليزيا والمملكة العربية السعودية وتركيا الشقيقة الكبرى والدول الإسلامية والمنظمات الدول الإسلامية منظمة المؤتمر الإسلامي والدول الأوروبية والولايات المتحدة الخاص والمنظمات الدولية مثل منظمة الإسلامي ومؤسسة آسيا ومؤسسة المحمدية. أيها الإخوة، ندعو الله أن يوفق قادتنا ويبارك في أعمارهم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يسدد خطانا من أجل تحقيق شعارنا الحكم الأخلاقي. الحكم الأخلاقي شعارا وراية، والتي بها بتوفيق الله سبحانه وتعالى سنحقق المزيد من الإنجازات، وأن يتغمد شهداءنا الشيخ سلامة هاشم ورفاق دربه الذي قضوا نحبهم في سبيل الله. Mga pagari ko, mga usog ko sa tiyan, ang bala-bala ang mga mujahidin, ang gusto mga pagalian tao, ang sa mga suhada, usrati suhada, ang gusto mga pagalian tao, ang binasa itamukin, ang sabi ipagalinin, ang kaawa kanuing din, magijani tausog, magijani Maguindanao, Maranao, Tausog, Samar, Bungkan Umbalawala Bangsamoro, siasa intinya Panawan Bangsamoro, bananawagan siyan sa kanggalaw-galaw kanunya ba agayan niya agay akina tindiga gobyerno Bangsamoro niya kanya ba suungano nakapira po lagun nalugatan tano na nasabot to ba niya yuja on min hadapina nasampay tao sa niya sabado kanu kahanda tano kanu kendo gatantan sa nakapira po lagun sa muna ya buwan sa niya nakarawan sa muro kanya ba agay na dead anduduluda mga gubay surangon arin kangaganing gusto tao ang mga rangon ng mga komando, rangon ng mga politician, mga dato, ang mga sultan ka yata no imbitiran na kay sa ingada. Nyaba agay nagkakalilini surangon ng pitaru Bangsamoro sa nyaba ano palulitano ka nyaba ano paluli sabad atau yuj on min hadapina lijihadin jihadin mukaddas di ardi Bangsamoro dan nyaba na paulito na saguna laysa fi ghayati laysa ghayatan wa innama yuj on min asbab qiyami al-jihad al-mukaddas في أرض بangsamoro سواء كان داخل أرض بangsamoro حاليا وخارج بangsamoro حاليا yakunya bananawagan kanu niya ba agay sa agkakali inisiyan sa kinatindig Bangsamoro niya bino nalang bidalua tao na Bangsamoro magichan yan nilugo at hilulay at maginda noon at lango na biyasa ng mga tawaib, kabail na Bangsamoro niya nawagig sa kakalinisan niya agay kanya ba ano pantyali masuk pendagang na pantyali no kinapamikutan no nadaway niya masauto magagano mga kaapu-apuan sa kaapu-apuan tanong na nagagatanong pa niya sa mga mga timpo. Bangsamoro niya, pagpun sa marubay, alhamdulillah na may kayawa tanong sa kataas. Yawa ilang na niya di ka magayon. Kaya tanong unggulan na kapagantangan ka ng mga kakakano, ingat tanong na niya ba ikisad tanong. Di makakapya, iungan isa na yan ang bitaan dahil kanina lubo. Kanina lubo. Ya, bitaan uman ni Bangsamoro niya na sa makakapya. Na niya ba, kaya namagang ko, so ingala ko, timbang matuwa na Bangsamoro niya, na itagat tanong sa lango-lango na makakaupay ka ng Bangsamoro, siya tanong babang ka ng lango-lango na makakapagulun, ka siya sa dunya, gusto ko sa akhirat, na entuhong ba imakakapya sa kitano. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Once again, Sheikh Khalifa Nando. A round of applause, please. We are truly honored not only to have you here with us this morning, Sheikh, but also to hear your words of wisdom as we celebrate our Foundation Day.
Once again, wa alaikum assalam, ya Sheikh Khalifa Nando. And like I said earlier, we are graced by some of the visionaries and decision makers who shaped and contributed to the establishment of the Bangsamoro region. And now, to represent on behalf of the Speaker of the Bangsamoro Parliament, Attorney Ali Pangalian Balindong, it is with the utmost pleasure that I introduce to you the Deputy Speaker of the Bangsamoro Parliament, Attorney Omar Yasser Sema. Round of applause, please.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma shalli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Ipagpaumanhin ho natin na hindi ho nakarating ang kagalang-galang na Speaker of the Bangsamoro Parliament, si Speaker Ali Pangalian Balindong, dahil meron hong napakahalagang kaganapan sa Malabang, Lanao del Sur na kailangan niyang puntahan. Isa ito sa mga trabaho natin bilang members of parliament, yung mag-ayos ng mga problema sa ground, especially yung RIDO. So ipagpaumanhin ho natin at rest assured that in the next activities of the BARM and the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, the Honorable Speaker will be attending them. But before I read the message of the Speaker, please allow me to express my personal observations and feelings for today's occasion. Especially allow me to pay my respects to those who have served the people and served the Bangsamoro. The best, the bravest, and the brightest of their generations, who together with our leaders in the Bangsamoro government today have put our collective interests and aspirations above their personal future, personal ambitions, with the end in view that we may all live today free, pursuing our dreams and exercising our collective inherent rights as a nation. Yesterday, another leader of the Bangsamoro struggle joined his brothers and sisters in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdul Sakhrin, known to his comrades as Kong and the diplomatic community as Hassan Jawali. Sir Kong was a PMAer during the organizing years, but he chose to serve his people when he joined the Batch 300 of the Moro National Liberation Front. He was a natural military and political tactician, as together with my father and the late Chairman Yusuf Jikiri, they re-engineered the Moro National Liberation Front despite the split and the leadership crisis that confronted the Moro struggle. He was one of those who pushed for the idea of convergence in the implementation of all peace agreements under the framework of a new autonomy law, the Bangsamoro Basic Law. His death appears to be untimely as we are currently celebrating the second year anniversary of the Bangsamoro government and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. But I say his death was in Allah's mercy, as we are able to remember and rejoice for all of them who were martyred and for all of them who are still living today, whether they are Maguindanon, Tausug, Maranao, Yakan, Iranon, Sangir, Kulibugan, Badjao, Tiduray, Manobo, Balik Islam, all of them who have sacrificed and shed their blood, sweat, and tears for our hula, bangsa, and agama. To keep them in our hearts and minds as embers of the struggle we all ought to continue as we build the foundations of the Bangsamoro government. Allahu Akbar. Let me now read the message of the speaker. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. The Chief Minister, the Honorable Ahod Balawag Ebrahim, Secretary Delphine Lorenzana of the Department of National Defense, Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity, Carlito Galvez, Secretary Carlito Galvez, Secretary Wendell Avisado of the Department of Budget and Management, of course, Undersecretary David Diciano, Panel Chair of the OPAPRU, the Executive Secretary, Sami Almansur Makakwa, the Honorable Wali, Sheikh Khalifa Nando, the leaders of the MNLF and MILF who are also members of the Bangsamoro Parliament, other ministers and deputy ministers of the different ministries of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao, my colleagues in the BTA who are with us today, whether in Zoom or physically present, the officials of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao, employees, staff, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. In a time when the world is faced with challenging uncertainties, there remains a lot more reason to be grateful for. Most notably, our celebration today of the second Bangsamoro Foundation Day. This year's anniversary comes in a time of great disruption, compounded by an unprecedented global health crisis due to COVID-19 pandemic. But it is also a reminder that this time of struggle can become an opportunity for positive change and transformation, which in fact opened doors for re-evaluation and reconstruction of certain tasks and services delivered by the Bangsamoro government, adapting to the new normal and with primary consideration of the public's convenience, safety, and well-being. As we celebrate the birth of the Bangsamoro government today, we are reminded of the certitude that we are a proud people with firm roots and strong individual and identity, encapsulating religion, culture, history, all in equal measure and with natural ease, masking the decades of tremendous armed struggle and sacrifices for our right to self-determination that led to our beloved Bangsamoro, to the establishment of our beloved Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Our journey has been a long one, and this incredible journey is a testimony of the vision, spirit, and commitment of the Bangsamoro leaders. Today, I feel proud and honored to be amongst those leading a conglomerate that has successfully steered through the testing times of leadership and has sustainably created value for its stakeholders. The promotion of good moral governance requires a parliament that can effectively perform the cardinal functions of representation. Therefore, we are extremely fortunate that we will together witness a great moment of pride in the history of our region as the Bangsamoro region attains a unique milestone that would be etched in golden letters. I would like to express my gratitude to the national government and all its agencies, their leaders who are present today, for the valuable support and power we received and continue to receive in pursuit of a peaceful and prosperous future of the Bangsamoro. Your continuous assistance enables us to be a unifying resource for the community we serve, a symbol of optimism and hope for the Bangsamoro as we define from ground up what moral governance stands for, which served as a guiding light over the 2 years, and has grown from a single idea to a beacon and brilliant foundation of this governmental institution. May this inspire us to carry on with our pursuits and respond to the needs of our people and fuel our drive towards the equitable, progressive Bangsamoro that we rightly deserve, that our people rightly deserve. Let us move ahead with utmost zeal in our hearts and pledge our commitment to not only serve the Bangsamoro people, but all the stakeholders who would be part of our journey and narratives in the years to come. Thank you very much and happy anniversary, Bangsamoro.
Thank you very much. Once again, Deputy Speaker of the Bangsamoro Parliament, Attorney Omar Yasser Sema. Thank you very much, sir. Next to deliver his message is live via Zoom. Please welcome the Government of the Philippines Panel Chair and Office of the Presidential Advisor and the Peace Process Undersecretary, David Bidiciano.
Audio please.
Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. First, I would like to greet the BARM Executive led by its Chief Minister Ahod Ibrahim Al-Haj, members of the BTA Parliament led by its Speaker Attorney Ali Pangalian Bandong, other guests on BTC, BARM officials and employees. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Again, good morning. On January 21, 2019, the first of the two-part plebiscite for the ratification of the BOL was held. History tells us that an overwhelming majority of the people in the Bangsamoro agree that the BOL is an instrument of change for peace and development in the region. This paved the way for the creation of the newly established region, the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, which replaced the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Today, we commemorate the second Bangsamoro Foundation Day. With this year's theme, Moral Governance, Building Strong Foundations for a Better Bangsamoro. It is up to highlight the significant strides taken by the Bangsamoro government since its inauguration 2 years ago. Moral governance has become not just a banner statement, but a guidepost for the Bangsamoro bureaucracy as the regional government works towards the establishment of key institutions, enactment of priority codes, and constitution of offices, all towards putting life and spirit to the aspirations of the Bangsamoro for meaningful and genuine autonomy. As we celebrate the Bangsamoro Foundation Day, we also celebrate the success of the Bangsamoro people. The Bangsamoro government was founded because of the desire of the people to become empowered, not only through formal government institutions, but also in the level of the communities, as it is the people themselves who shall reap the benefits of the policies and programs of the Bangsamoro government. Thus, moral governance becomes even more relevant in the context of the people-centered government service. May the BAM continue to successfully pursue moral governance to strengthen its political structures, systems, and mechanisms, and consequently result in a more inclusive, transparent, and responsive bureaucracy. Finally, may this celebration become an opportunity for all of us to show greater compassion, transparency, and accountability. Together, we shall continue to sustain the gains of peace in the Bangsamoro. Thank you. Happy Foundation Day, Bangsamoro.
Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Wa ba'du, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A pleasant and blessed day to all of us, Bangsamoro. Today, we pay respect to all who have fought and continue to fight for the long-sought self-determination of the Bangsamoro, symbolized by the red horizontal color in the Bangsamoro flag. Today, we honor the bravery and heroism of Sheikh Salamat Hashim, Alim Abdullah Jij Mimantas, Sir Ghazali Ghaffar, Sir Mamour Steno, and the Deputy Chief Minister, Sir Abdul Sahrin, and many other mujahideen and mujahidat who offered their lives for us to see a day we commemorate as the Bangsamoro Foundation Day. May the mercy of Allah be upon them all. Today, we celebrate and remember the day we won and continue our quest for peace and righteousness in the Bangsamoro homeland, symbolized by the white horizontal line in the Bangsamoro flag. Today, we're also reminded that the great struggle continues to instill and enslave the teachings of Islam in ourselves and in our institutions. This is symbolized by the green-colored horizontal line in the upper part of the Bangsamoro flag. With this in mind, it is a great privilege to read to you in this historic occasion the message from one of the pillars of the Bangsamoro struggle, chairman of the MILF negotiating panel, now a member of the BTA, and minister of the Ministry of Basic, Higher Technical Education, Minister Muhagir Iqbal. As much as he would want to be with us to celebrate this very momentous event, it cannot be possible, or he cannot be here due to the equally important engagement he has in Manila. Allow me now to start reading to you his message. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To the Honorable Interim Chief Minister, Ahod Balawag Ebrahim Al-Haj, Executive Secretary and Menri Minister of Doraf Makakwa, the Speaker of the BT Parliament, Attorney Ali Pangalian Balindong, Grand Mufti Abu Huraira Udasan, the Wali of the Bangsamoro, Sheikh Ali Panando, Undersecretary David Deseano of the Government of the Philippines, Panyo Chair, Anopa Undersecretary, National Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana, Budget and Management Secretary Wendell Avisado, members of the Bangsamoro Transition Parliament Authority, ministers, other distinguished guests, good morning. It is my privilege and honor to convey a message of solidarity, hope, and courage on this momentous occasion. The Ministry of Basic, Higher, and Technical Education joins the Bangsamoro community in commemorating the second founding anniversary of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM. I want to commend all BARM officials, personnel, and staff, including those who served since the previous administrations, for your commitment to the tenet of moral governance and diligence to provide excellent public service to the Bangsamoro people. The hard work, generosity, and integrity you exemplify reinforce our efforts to transform the BARM into a productive, peaceful, just, and inclusive nation, thus significantly contributing to the Philippines' long-term prosperity and stability. It seemed like yesterday that my colleagues in the Bangsamoro Transition Authority took a secret oath to protect and prioritize the well-being of our region's diverse constituency. But time accelerates, and it now has been 2 years since the authorities conducted a plebiscite